Welcome back to the course, guys. Now it's time for us to move on to the next video, which we are going to talk about your competitors. How are you going to figure out who your competitors are and what are you going to look for in order for you to get an advantage over your competition? Let's dive into it. Firstly, remember that you're having a template. So you're having a template that you can fill in for this section. So it's called the business branding template. You can just download it in the resources by clicking that link, and you can see that it says number 5 and brand competition. And then you have a small little explanation just beneath here to guide you when you are writing your brand's competition. Let's dive into the video. Okay guys, so how do we figure out who our competitors are? You might have a slightly idea of your top competitors, but do you know the competitors within your location? Do you know who they are? Maybe you already have a clue. If you don't, then use Google. Google is the best tool to use when it comes to researching your competitors, because that is what you need to do. You need to go into your market and search, who are my competitors? Who is the competitors within my niche? That is exactly what you do want to do. And how do you go about this? Well, first off, we have something called direct competitors. As you can see on the screen right now, if you're having like a taxi company, for example, you are within the service business, right? So you are providing services for clients, for people, and you are within the transportation niche. And the same goes for the other taxi company. They are then your direct competitors because they are having the very same service and or product, in this case service, and they are going after the very same market, people, customers, audience that you are doing. That's why we're calling them direct competitors. Then we're having something called indirect competitors, and that would be, in this case, for example, if you're running a taxi company, then it would be a limousine company or maybe a bus company then that you can like rent an entire private bus, for example. They are still within the transportation niche and also the service niche, so they are going after the same market. They are not providing the very exact service as you're doing, but they're going after the same people, the same customers. So that is the differences between a direct competitor and an indirect competitor. They're going after the same market, but they don't provide the very exact services or the same product as you're doing. So for this, you do want to use Google to search up your competitors. You do want to try to collect at least 10 competitors. And to get these 10 competitors in Google, you can search for your product, the product name, and then direct competitors, and then your product or service name. For example, taxi company indirect competitors, or taxi company London direct competitors, depending on if you are planning on or having a business idea or a business that is location based. If you don't have that, maybe you have a digital product, then you can search for the product's name, what it is for type of product, and then direct competitors and indirect competitors to get a better understanding on who you are competing with over these customers. So you do want to look for gaps to fill. What do I mean with that? Well, if you go to a company's page, you will almost always see some kind of testimonials or reviews. And just know that like almost everything on their website will be like controlled by the company. So if you see a testimonial, everything is perfect with their products, with their services, with their company, with their brand, etc., then that might not be the case. That's why we have marketplaces like Amazon.com. We're having other types of services where they are providing reviews, such as Trustpilot, such as TripAdvisor, depending on which niche you are within. But once you have this list of competitors, you do want to search out where can people leave reviews, like honest reviews. Once you find that platform, like Trustpilot or TripAdvisor or Amazon.com, if you're selling products like physical products, Once you have figured that out, you do want to go through the review section. So if you have a look on the screen right now, you can see it says reviews here. Then you have, of course, the good, then you have the mid-range, and then you have the bad reviews. You do want to go in and have a look at the different types of reviews, but what should you look after? Well, first of all, I would look after commonality, which means that what is common amongst your competitors. Do you see a type of pattern? Maybe they have bad service. Maybe the quality is really, really bad. Or maybe they are, I don't know, maybe it's something wrong with a color. Maybe they're searching for another color. Now, whatever it might be, you do want to look for patterns that you can just write down, write a note about, and see if that is something that is common when it comes to your competitors. And then, what good are people saying about this company, this brand, this product or service? Write them down. Try to find patterns here as well. And then, how does that make them feel? Are they joyful, happy? Are they satisfied? Are they relieved? What types of emotions are they speaking about? Try to find something that is common here as well. But what you do really want to concentrate on here is actually what are the most common bad reviews. You do want to find some gap here. A gap that you can fill to be the hero company and brand. So you do want to see what commonality is it amongst the bad reviews. What is common? What are they saying? And how does it make them feel frustrated, angry, sad, not happy, of course. How do they make them feel, and what emotions can you tap into with your products and services? So if you do want to think about this with a very creative mind, you do want to see what is the problem with their product and how does that make the customer feel? Because if you know on how to tap into their emotions, how to step into their shoes and understand their problem, it's more likely that you can solve that problem and to get them in a better state, like with their feelings, etc. So is there anything you can do better here? You do want to write that down as well. Just think of it. Can you do anything better in this area? Do you have the budget? Do you have the skills? Do you have the audience? Do you have the employees? Do you have the equipment to do anything better here? And then the last, is there something you can specialize in? So if you're finding a gap in your competitors where they mostly are failing their customers, can you fill that gap? Maybe your brand can start to specialize within that area. So first of all, how do you figure out who your competitors are? Go to Google, use Google. That's the best resources and it's totally for free. Have a look at your direct competitors, have a look at your indirect competitors, collect at least 10 competitors, have a look at how you can fill the gaps when their customers don't feel good about their products and or services. Can you fill that gap? Can you specialize in some type of area there? Can you be better? How can you be better? Figure that out. You have the template in the resources. Just click that link, download to your computer, smartphone, iPad, or whichever, and start writing who your competitors are. Do your research, and I'll see you in the next video.